everyone, it's Jade here and welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you are new as well. So in today's video we're going to be doing a colour along in this book called The Circle of Life, and I've chosen to do this picture here, which is like a giant snowflake, and then we've got like this polar bear scene in the middle. So I thought this would be quite a nice one to do on the run up to Christmas. So I'm going to be using the brutfuner pencils. So I have got the square pencils, which I got off Amazon for about £20, I think. So that's what I'm going to be using to complete this picture. So I'll go ahead and zoom you in and we'll get started. So the first colour that I'm going to go in with is 029, and this is like a pale blue colour, which I thought would be good to make a start on these icebergs. So what I want to do is use this as like a bit of a shade colour really for where the snow is. So anywhere where I can see the snow, I'm going to go ahead and put this colour just underneath it. So I'm just using light pressure, and these pencils are quite good for building up colour. So anywhere where these little sort of dark lines are, I'm going to use this colour to add a bit of shade in. Okay, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of blue here to this one just to separate that out. And we'll add a little bit in here too. And because we're only using light pressure, we can go over and add extra colour in if we need to over the top. Next, I'm going to go in with 112, which is more of like a purpley colour, but it's quite pale. And I'm going to, again, use light pressure for this. And I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of this purple tone. So just light pressure. And I'm taking it up over the blue as well, just to add a little bit more colour to our snowy parts. So anywhere where I've put the blue, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of this purple around it. Just so that our snow isn't all white. So we've got a few little different colours in there. So I'm mainly focusing this on anywhere that I've put the blue. I'm just adding a bit of purple around it. I always feel like snow can be a little bit difficult to colour because you're never quite sure on the actual colour, because when you look at snow it's mainly white, but to colour it in you can't just use white, so you have to sort of pick your colours and think what would look good and where to sort of place it as well to give it that snowy effect. So it can be quite challenging, but I think if you just take your time and just add a little bit of colour into the picture, it can end up looking quite nice. I think we'll add a little bit of purple over here as well, because that one's very white. And we'll add a little bit up here to this one. Then take in 065, which is like a pinky grey colour. I'm going to go ahead and add a bit more grey to this, just to make it look a little bit more snowy. So what I'm going to do is put this in some places where we haven't already added some colour. So like there was looking a little bit white. In here I'll add a little bit up this edge and to this little piece here. And it's just about adding it just to take away from the whiteness of the page, really. We'll add a little bit of this around the polar bear, just to break him up from the background. A little bit on that one. And then I'm just going to put a little bit underneath here. This line. And we'll add a bit to this corner. And this little crack here. And then I'm going to add a little bit up on this edge as well. We'll do a little bit here and a little bit here. Then take in 038, which is a little bit more of a blue colour. I'm going to go ahead and add some really blue parts into this. So for this I'm going to use light pressure, and I'm going to add some up here, right up to the top of that sort of iceberg, and to this side here. And we'll add some over here and down here. So anywhere where it's looking a little bit white, just going to add a little bit of this colour in. And because we're only using light pressure, the colours will blend together quite easily. And these pencils are really good as well, to be fair. And then I'm going to use this colour to do a base coat on our little igloo, so that this is a bit of a bluer colour and stands out a bit better. So I'll just use light pressure and add some colour to that. Then taking 039, we're going to add some details to our little igloo. So what I'm going to do is go around the edges of the little brickwork and just darken that up ever so slightly, just to make it stand out a little bit better. And again, I'm still using light pressure for this, just to add in a little bit more colour. And then for these inside ones, I'm going to darken that up. So just normal pressure in there, fill them in. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of shade around that middle line. Okay, and then going back in with 029, which was the lightest bluey purple colour that we used for the bottoms of these. I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit more pressure and just darken up that section because it's not looking very dark at the minute. So I'm just going to use normal pressure now and just go over where we added this colour in, just to darken it up a little bit more. Okay, and then using 029, I'm going to go ahead and add some colour to these sort of snow build up down here. So I'm just going to add it to the bottom edges, just to give that a little bit of colour. And then I'll use normal pressure to fill in the underneath parts so that that's darker. And here I'm going to use normal pressure and fill that in there. And them two pieces there. And then again here we'll just use light pressure at the bottom. Just to add a little bit more snowy colour. Okay, next going back in with 038, I'm going to make a start on this ice here. So I want this edge to be like a brighter colour so that you can see that it is ice. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in this edge just using normal pressure. And then I'm going to use this to add a bit of colour here onto the edge. So I'm just taking it sort of across the lines that have been added in and leaving some white on there. Add a bit in between the polar bear's feet, and then we'll add some up here to this snowy bit in the back. Next, taking 044, which is like a light green colour, I'm going to go ahead and use light pressure and add this colour into the water so that the water is a different colour to everything else. Because if we'd have done it blue, I think it would have just matched in with all the snow. So I'm just going to use light pressure and go ahead and do a base coat on this water. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is anywhere that I want it to be darker, I'm just going to use a bit more pressure with the pencil. So up here around the edges, I'm just going to add in a bit more colour. So just use more pressure and darken up the edges here where there would be a bit of a shadow from the ice. So I'll do this all the way around the edge. And then I'm going to add some in over these lines. And then I'm going to go back in with 029, which is our light blue colour. And I'm just going to add a little bit of a blue tint. So I'm just using light pressure here and just add in a little bit of blue into some of the areas of the water, just so that it's not all green. And then I'm going to go in with our white pencil and just go ahead and use normal pressure now and blend all of the water together. Okay, next going in with 097, we're going to make a start on these seals. So this is going to be quite a dark grey, so I'm going to focus this on their backs and add a bit of colour to that. And I'm just using light pressure. This is quite a darker grey, so it will show up. And I think we'll do a little bit on the underneath of his head. We'll do the same for this one. And then I'm going to use 038, which is our light blue colour, and add a little bit of blue into their bellies. And again, I'm just using light pressure. I think we'll fill them in actually in this colour. So everywhere we haven't put the grey, I'm going to put this over them. And then I'm going to go back in with 097, our darker grey colour, and just add a little bit more colour down. So I'm still using light pressure, but just going over where we added our grey, just to make it stand out a little bit more. And I'll put a little bit down there too, just to add a bit of a shadow. Do the same for this little one up here. And again, add a little bit of a shadow to his belly. Then going in with 035, which is a bit of a darker blue, I'm going to go ahead and fill in our little fish. Just so they've got a little bit of colour to them. Then taking 081, which is a little bit of a darker green, I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit more of a darker green to some of these lines in the water, just to make them stand out a little bit better, and just add a little bit more dimension into the water. Then taking 112, which is our purpley colour, I'm going to go ahead and add some purple down to these ice patches here. And I'm just going to use normal pressure this time, just so that the colour stands out a little bit better. And I'll do the same over here. So just randomly add a little bit of purple in. And then hopefully our polar bears will stand out a little bit better. I'll darken up around the top of this polar bear as well. And do the same for this one. I think I'm going to add a little bit of this purple colour onto our seals as well. So I'm just using normal pressure, just adding a little bit of a purple tint to them. Okay, next going in with 099, I'm going to make a start on the sky. So what I want to do is just do a light base coat on the sky, just so that we can see how it's going to look, because I thought if we did it like purples and blues, it would look quite nice. So up against the tops of the mountains, I'm just going to run a light base coat of this colour all the way along. So just light pressure. Then taking 029, I'm going to go ahead and use light pressure and start to fill in the rest of the sky. I'm going to take it over the purple as well, so that everything blends together nicely. And we'll do a bit up here. And then I'm going to go back in with 099 and do a base coat on this top edge. And now I'm going to go ahead and use a bit more pressure and start to darken this up down here. And take it over the blue as well. And then going back in with 029, I'm going to go ahead and go over this blue colour and darken this up a bit. So I'm still just using light pressure for this blue because I don't want it to be too dark. And again, I'm going to take it over the purple. I'm just going to add a bit more purple in here because it's still looking a little bit light. And then here right up against our little icebergs. Next, taking 117, I'm going to make a start on the polar bears. So this is like a light brown colour. So I just want to add a really light pressure and just add a little bit of brown to their feet so it looks like they're a little bit dirty. We'll give them a little bit on their face. And I'll do the same for this one here. So just add really light pressure, a little bit of brown on his feet. We'll give him a bit on his belly and a little bit around his face. Then taking 067, which is a little bit of a grey browny colour, I'm going to go ahead and add in a little bit of shade to our polar bear. So I'm going to darken up his little belly and this back leg here and this back leg, and then I think we'll give him a little bit of this colour on his back, just randomly placing it just to add a bit of colour to them. And we'll do the same for this one, so we'll give him a little bit of colour on his back and then on the top of this leg here and a little bit here Then taking 011, which is a pale pink colour, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of pink to them as well. So I'll just put a little bit on his bum and on his face, and we'll just do some here on this one. And then I'm going to go back in with 112, which is the purple colour that we used on our icebergs, and I'm just going to use a bit more pressure this time and just darken up the colour ever so slightly so that it stands out a little bit better. Because it's kind of faded a little bit. So anyway, you want a little bit more colour, just add a bit more of this. Okay, now I'm going to go in with my Uniball Signo white gel pen, and what I'm going to do is start to add some snow in. So I'm going to take it along the top edge of these icebergs. And then I'm going to follow some of these bigger lines and make these white so that they don't stand out quite as much with the big thick black lines. The smaller black lines I'm going to leave, but the bigger ones I'm going to go over with the gel pen. And then I'm going to go over the igloo as well, just so that doesn't stand out too much. Go around the lines on there too. And then we'll go around the ice on the edge of the water. Probably using a large gel pen to get this snowy effect. And we'll do the same for this one here in the middle. And then I'm going to use this just to add some white lines into the water, just to break that up a little bit. So just randomly place these in, make it look a bit colder. I'll do one on the seal as well, and another one on here. So next, going in with 011, I'm going to make a start on the actual clouds. So I'm just going to use light pressure and add some pink into these clouds. So I'm just going to focus this on the bottom sections. And then going in with 112, which was our lighter purple colour, I'm going to go ahead and use normal pressure now and take this up to the pink, so fill in the sort of top halves of the clouds. And then going back in with 011, our pink colour, I'm going to go ahead and use normal pressure this time and fill in the bottom of the cloud and mix it in to our purple colour. Then taking 029, I'm going to fill in this little bit of sky here that I missed. Then taking 119, which is a bit of a browny colour, we're going to go ahead and add some colour to our birds. So I'm just going to use light pressure and just add a bit of this colour just to the tips of their wings. And we'll add a little bit to the body, just the back part of the body. Then going in with 067, a nice grey colour, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the rest of the birds and mix this together. So just use normal pressure for this bit. Then taking 039, I'm going to fill in this circle here around the edge. So I want this to look kind of snowy as well, but I want it to be a bit darker than what it is at the minute. So I'm going to go ahead and use normal pressure and fill this in. Okay guys, and for the background, I'm going to be using the Mungo pastels, so soft pastels. And what I'm going to do is do like a darker colour around the centre and then go into a lighter colour around the edge. So I'm going to go in with a darker blue. So I'm going to try this one, which is like a medium blue. And I'm just going to use a knife and scrape a little bit of this around the very edge of the picture. And then going in with a cotton wool pad, I'm just going to go ahead and rub this in. And it doesn't matter if you get it a little bit on the pencil work. Then next I've picked a lighter blue and I'm going to do the same again. So go ahead and add this up against where we just left the darker blue. So again, I'm just using the knife just to scrape a little bit of the colour off. And I'm going to take this all the way round. And then using a clean cotton bud, I'm going to go ahead and do the same. So just light pressure and start to blend this colour out. So it should start to look lighter as we come towards the edges. Okay, and I'm going to add a little bit more colour around this edge because it's looking a little bit light still. We wanted it to be lighter, but I still want you to be able to see it. So again, another clean cotton pad, and go ahead and rub that in. So now we've got quite a nice gradient effect. It's darker in the center and then gets lighter as it comes out towards the edges, which is what I was looking for. So next, going back in with our Uniball Signote pen, I'm going to make a start on outlining these snowflakes so that they stand out against the blue background. So I've just got a piece of tissue over here to stop the transfer from the pastels. And I'm just going to go ahead and go over these and just make them look a little bit more like snowflakes. Okay guys, so that's how the first two are looking. So I'm going to carry on doing this all the way round and then I'll come back when it's done. Okay guys, so I've finished going around all the snowflakes in the white gel pen. So next I'm going to go in with a blue glittery gel pen. I thought this would be nice to fill in these little snowflake details here around the edge. So I'm just going to use this and just go ahead and fill these in with this colour. And this is just going to bring a little bit of sparkle to the background. Just make it look a little bit more snowy. And of course, if you didn't have a blue glittery gel pen, you could always just use a blue pencil to fill these in. So that's the first two done. So I'm going to carry on doing the rest of these. Okay, so that's all of our blue snowflakes filled in, and I'm quite liking the darker blue effect. It's quite nice. So next I'm going to go in with a silver gel pen, and I thought I'd use this to go ahead and fill in these dot details so that it adds a little bit more sparkle and a little bit more snowiness. So I'll go ahead and zoom you in. So I'm using this for these bigger circles, and just going to go ahead and fill these in with the gel pen, just to add a little bit of silver into the picture. And then I'm going to go in with this purple glitter pen. So for this one, I'm just going to go ahead and fill in these little almost star-shaped ones. Just so that we've got a little bit of different colour in the background. Okay guys, so we've got some purple in there now and some blue and some silver. So I'm going to go back in with the blue because I quite like the effect. And I'm just going to go ahead and fill in these last little snowflakes that are left. So really tiny little circles. So I'm just going to go ahead and use this to fill in the last little ones, just to give it a bit more blue colour. Okay you guys, and this is the final result. So a nice little snowy scene right before Christmas. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next video.